everyone, and welcome to the Amazing You podcast with Elizabeth Maldonado. I'm your host, and we have a special guest today, and I'm so honored to have her. Her name is Christie Love. She's from Houston, Texas, and she's an award-winning speaker, a confidence coach, and a podcaster. Welcome, Christie. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so very much, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to be here. Yes, and I
Yeah.
have a book coming out soon. And it's called From
Awesome.
Stage Fright to Superstars. Look out for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember my very first time getting on stage. I just was like a nervous wreck. I could feel my knees moving and my heart beating real fast. It is something that really work to get over. So that's not easy sometimes. That stage fright really kicks in.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background, Christy, and how you got started. And I know you've got the book coming out, and you've got your confidence coach, and you also have your podcast. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with all of that.
Well, I'm doing a lot of things now that I feel totally in line with my passion, but it wasn't always that way. So I
Mhm.
want to start by sharing my story. My story began about, I want to say 19 years now.
Oh, wow.
Time is flying. But I
Mhm.
started out with a social anxiety called glossophobia. I know a lot of
Mm.
people don't know what glossophobia is, but it's a stage fright or a social anxiety.
Oh, okay.
I was very young at the time, and I remember I got an opportunity to work for a major Fortune 500 company, and I was required to work with multi-million dollar, other leaders or other corporations. And something happened within that company with a boss of mine that, long story short, allowed just the stress that I endured to just go and
Mhm,
caused me
mhm.
to develop stage fright. Okay.
Oh, mhm,
And I heard about an organization called Toastmasters International. And I
mhm,
remember this day distinctly. I looked it up. Someone suggested that to me a few years back because I wasn't the best communicator, right? Some of
mhm,
us aren't when we're very young. And I saw that the meeting started, and it was only about a couple of blocks from my job. And I got off of work around 5 o'clock, and the meeting started at 7. And I remember that day very distinctly. Distinctly, I sat in the car for 2 hours. I had 2 hours, right?
mhm, mhm.
Crying, screaming, hyperventilating, having panic attacks, calling my mother because I was scared to walk in the door. I was
Oh.
terrified because I knew they were going to ask me to speak.
Mhm, mhm.
And I did. I mustered up enough energy that day to walk in, and all I could do is say, "Hi, my name is Christy," and sit down. And I did that for about 3 months. That same
Mhm.
scenario played over and over and over again. And some leaders saw that, hey, she had a little problem, and began to kind of encourage me a little bit, and a little bit more, and a little bit more to take little roles here and there. And I remember my first speech. So exactly what you were talking about, Elizabeth, happened to me. But I
Yeah.
was I was like frozen
Mhm,
and couldn't
mhm,
move. I couldn't speak. My hands were sweaty, they were shaking, my voice was trembling, my body felt like it was just gonna give out. But
mhm.
somehow I mustered enough energy to make it through that speech.
Perfect. Perfect.
And a lot of things play in our mind. You're not good enough. Oh, who are you to speak in front of people? And then you compare yourself with other
So
speakers,
true. No, it's
right?
true. Mhm.
And
That's
all
true.
these things come in your head and twirl around about how you're not good enough. You can't do it, and that just
Mhm.
comes out in the form of fear.
It does. It
And
does.
after that speech, people clapped, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. Well, they're so encouraging and encouraged me to do more. And it took me like 3 months to practice for the next speech.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But over time, I started to get a little better myself.
Mhm.
But I always looked at that door for someone else who walked in who looked like me when I first
Mhm.
started,
Mhm.
who had
Mhm.
that fear and terror in their eye. And I took it upon myself to help them, to mentor them and coach them. And I think over all these years, I probably mentored hundreds and hundreds of people.
Mhm.
And that led me to my passion. My passion
Mhm.
in public speaking and building confidence because I've practiced it for so long. I've overcame that, and I know all the possibilities that being a confident speaker can bring. Better
Mhm. Mhm.
better relationships,
Mhm.
better job opportunities, better uh, just opportunities in business, and better
Mhm.
to become more visible in your business because you can do this now. You're not afraid anymore. And
Mhm.
so
That's
that's what
true.
I do. And I am so grateful for the people who encouraged me, the coaches, the
Absolutely.
mentors who encouraged me along the way. And that's pretty much what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it's true. And you know, it's so difficult when you're first starting because you feel so I know well in my case I felt like I wasn't worthy, like you said. Well, who are you to be on
Mm-hmm.
stage? And I did a lot of that. I did a lot of questioning and then the confidence just wasn't there. I just felt so beat up with things that had happened in my past and like you said, you know, the job place and things like that. And you get to the point where you're just like, you don't have the energy and the power to really stand firm and confident in what you're doing. And it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. But I think when you get there, you want to give back. You want to find someone that you
Mm-hmm.
can share your information with and help them to evolve as well. So in your coaching, Christy, how do you feel about like, what do you concentrate more on? What do you feel like is your strong suit in the coaching?
Hmm. I think my coaching specifically strong point is being able to pinpoint my client's strengths and weaknesses. Okay. I have and within my program, it's called the Confident Communicating Mastery. And we go through different guides, the becoming a better speaker, like vocal variety, eye contact, body language, uh, skills like that. However, everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. So I'm able to
Mhm,
pinpoint my client's weakness and then help them develop that. So maybe it's that they have a business and they are not that visible because they're scared to be on social media. So I'll push
mhm,
them and hold them accountable. Hey, get those videos out. Talk about serve, serve as much as you can. Find different platforms, find different groups. Get out there, and I push them until they start to love it. They feel more confident about speaking about who they are, what they do, and how they serve other people. Okay, so
mhm,
that's one idea. I had a one person I coached. His name is Tony Watley. Great person. But Tony was very monotone in his voice. He was a
mhm.
huge leader, already successful in business, but he saw that he was very monotone in his voice. He had a lot of things to say, great things to say, but we
Uh-huh.
worked on that vocal variety, and then from there he just blew up.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So we
And right now it seems like the social media is the way to go as far as like marketing and advertising and things like that. People are on it 24/7. So what they see on there, they're gonna, gravitate to. So I think that, being on platforms like that really helps you in business and in your personal life too, because you build the confidence and even networks and things like that. Um, I know I had a fear of doing anything on social media, and it took me a little while to say, okay, I'm going to try it, and go for it. So I think that's really good. Um, and your book, Christy, tell us more about your book that's coming out. What kind of things do you include in the book that would help with getting over that fear?
Absolutely. My book is called From Stage Fright to Superstar. And it talks about my journey of experiencing glossophobia or stage fright and how I overcame that. And then I provide tips on how other people can kind of overcome stage fright as well. But first, we have to realize what stage fright is, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
stage fright is usually all those self-limiting beliefs that happened in the past, that's conjuring up in our mind, in our medulla oblongata.
uh-huh.
And it comes out in the form of terror and fear. And so I give a lot of tips throughout the book on how you can overcome that. But first, we have to see that fear is not real.
Mhm, mhm,
Fear, the word fear is an acronym. FEAR. False
mhm,
evidence appearing real. When someone told me
mhm.
that, I'm like, wow, you mean it's not real? All this that I'm
It's
experiencing is
true.
not real. So we have to understand that fear is not real. Once we see that this big cloud, black mass that seems like it's weighing us down,
Mhm,
it's just imaginary. We can just push that away, right?
mhm,
And it
mhm.
also goes in line with the belief in ourselves and transforming those negative beliefs to more positive beliefs and positive self-talk. Like I can do
Exactly.
this.
That's
I
awesome.
am worthy. I have what
Mhm,
it takes. I, you know, I am. grateful for the message that I have to give and serve other people. And when you take the
Mhm.
focus off of yourself and put it back on the audience of how I can serve more, then
Mhm.
that fear is going to start to dissolve and dissipate. Okay.
It does,
But the
absolutely.
first thing you need to do is to acknowledge, right? You have to acknowledge, hey, I have a situation here or an area where I know that I need improvement on. Number two is to get help. Get help. Sometimes you can't do it alone. I tried. Trust me, I tried. But
Mhm,
seek the
mhm,
help of maybe Toastmasters is a great starting point. Coaches or mentors. Find someone who's willing to guide you along and give you that encouragement and boost and accountability that you're going to need to
mhm.
overcome the the anxiety that you're feeling about speaking in front of groups. And lastly, I tell people to practice. You're not going to get better if you don't practice, right?
True,
I know
that's true.
you're in Daniel's with Sticker Shock Academy,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you practiced that speech quite a few
I
times
did.
before you gave it in front of the audience, right?
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. You do. You have to practice it. And I try. I really do. I try to, any opportunity I can to try and get up there and say a few words and because you're right. What you get used to it and you develop with your exercises and then the audience really makes you feel better because they give you compliments or they'll say, "Hey, really, when you said this, it really touched my heart." Things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's a great opportunity for people once they work on the public speaking because you're right. I mean, you go to an interview and depending on how you sound and the way you come across, it's like you're selling yourself. If you don't sell yourself well, then you're going to get passed up and they're going to get pick somebody else. And so those things are so important and it's just such a competitive market out there for all kinds of positions and things that you want to do. So you have to be ready and you have to be prepared. So yeah, you're
That's
right.
right.
Working with people, networking, getting the skills you need and developing yourself so that when you do go out there, you have that edge. So that's a really good thing. And I know you're going to be speaking at the women's conference in October.
I am
Um,
excited. Yes.
Yes, the Inner Beauty Women's Conference is going to be October 16th here in San Antonio at the Norris Conference Center. It's going to be from 9 to 4. And Christy will be speaking there and giving us some insight and a lot of information. And that I think that's going to be a wonderful experience just because we celebrate each other and you
Mm-hmm.
talk about overcoming, some difficult times. And, we were just talking in my last episode we talked about how when you overcome something really difficult, you learn so much more about yourself and you value yourself more because then you look back and go, man, I can't believe I made it through that, or I made it past
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it really gives you a better appreciation for life in general, especially when it's something really, big and so I'm excited about being there too because I want to hear everybody's story. And, you learn so much from everybody who has something to say about their overcoming something difficult because you learn and you take that in and you think, gosh, I mean, God is so amazing and there's nothing we can't do, with his grace. So I think that it's a great opportunity to really kind of network and have people learn from each other. So I'm looking
I'm.
forward to it.
Me too. Are you going? So you're going to be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. It's gonna be
Awesome.
here before we know it. I mean, with at first I thought, well, October, it's a long ways away, but it's coming. It's going fast. The time just flies. So I'm looking forward to that. I think there are gonna be some really great speakers too. So anybody who has the opportunity to go out there, I tell you, buy a ticket. It'll be so worth it. You're gonna get so much out of it. So if you get a chance, it's the Inner Beauty Women's Conference. It's October 16th here in San Antonio at the Norris Conference Center. And it's going to be from 9 to 4.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Be there. We women have gone through so much. We've endured so much. We've taken so much. I think we are creatures of resilience. And on a
mhm,
personal note, I experienced health issues that by the grace of God and prayer and doing the work, I talk about, I've overcame that. I experienced seizures that left me paralyzed. It was a very traumatic time in my life, because I was going to doctors and doctors and doctors, doctors in California, Florida, Houston. We have a huge medical center here, two of them actually. I went to multiple doctors, emergency rooms, trying to find out what is wrong with me. Why am I having these seizures that were leaving me paralyzed?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Then I'd start to begin to walk again, and then I'd have another one. And that went on for so long. And I was at my bottom. So I'm going to talk more about this at the women's conference for sure.
Uh-huh.
But I overcame that. I healed myself. I released 80 pounds of weight. I feel
Wow.
better than I did 30 years ago. But it was through prayer
Mhm.
every day, getting up and starting each day, and just taking away the stress and thinking about the issues that I'm going through, and just keeping my focus on him.
Mhm.
And then
Absolutely,
doing,
yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
then doing the work, making sure I'm taking care of the body that God gave me, my body, my nutrition, 100%, my uh, diet is 100%, yeah, and my
Mhm.
fluids and hydration is 100%. All those
Mhm.
things that I make sure that I do at the highest level, because I want the life that God gave me. I knew that I was destined for more. And so I know
Mhm.
there's so many women who need that, because a lot of women are going through so many things. I mean, there's
Mm.
sickness, there's, divorce, there's children, family
Mm.
issues that people
Mhm.
are going
Mhm.
through, and loss, heartache. There's so much. And
Mhm.
I just want to let them know that, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Exactly.
Put God
Exactly.
first, and then do your part. It
Mhm.
also takes action, right?
It
You can't
does,
just
it
sit there
does.
and just pray, but God gives it in our heart to actually take an action and work toward a path. And it's up to us to follow that path
It
and see
is,
it
it
to
is.
the end. And that's when transformations happen. So I'm so excited to share that
Exactly.
story a little bit more at the women's
Definitely.
conference. It is, yes, it's slowly creeping up. I was thinking about too, like, oh, it's way in August. I don't worry about that for a while. But now it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, before you know,
October, and now it's
yeah.
August. Yeah.
I know it's really coming quick, and I kept thinking that like, it's far away, but wow, it goes so fast. And then before we know it, all the holidays are here, October, November, December. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and then January. It's just back to back. But I think that's one of the things that I love about you know being a woman. We have so many different hats that we wear, and the idea of being able to pour into someone else, and we just have this nurturing part of us, but we forget sometimes that, hey, we need some time too, and we need some effort too, and the self-care needs to be there. And you're right, the health part is so important. I'm diabetic, and I've been thinking too, I need to get on an exercise regimen, and I've got to, my nutrition is key. I think I get so caught up in what I'm trying to do, and I'm not paying attention to being intentional about what I eat, and making sure that it's healthy and things like that. So I need to get on the ball with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, because you have to take care of yourself if you're gonna be successful. You know,
That's right. It takes energy. This is not easy. I mean, you're
it's
doing a
not.
podcast, you have a
Mm,
business, I'm sure you have a family,
mm,
and we have to take care of ourselves, take care of our temple, and make sure that we are doing the best we can to have the energy that we need in order to accept and receive all the good things that are coming, the opportunities that are coming to us. It'd be a
absolutely
shame if
true.
you didn't have the energy to do the great things that are coming into your life.
You're right. You're absolutely right. No, no. Well, Gracie, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being on the podcast, and I hope to have you on again sometime. Um,
Absolutely.
I just think that, I just want to be able to give people inspiration and tell them, look, we've been there, we've done that, and you can work past it. And there's people out there to provide you the help and the mentorship and things like that. So I appreciate you, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon.
Anytime. So you just let me know, Elizabeth. It was a great
Thank
being on your
you.
show. The
Thank you. I
amazing you,
appreciate you.
yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.